My friend, floor is
Go
yours.
ahead. Go ahead and mute yourself for a second. Because I'm gonna do a standby for this one. It won't be too long. It's just a series of things that I have written down, and then three questions I have for you. So basically, Bryce, what I came to you about was that I don't think Michigan's on the climb and on the rise that you believe they are, and that a lot of Michigan fans believe they are on. And so I just want to I jotted down a few notes, and I want to bring this to your attention. College football is a Jimmy and Joe sport. And if I have more Jimmys and Joes than you do, I win more times than not. Of course, that's not always the case, as you know. But I just want to point this out to you. These are the class rankings from 22 to the current one we have right now, okay, in 24. Michigan, currently fourth. In 2023, they were 20th. In 22, they were 12th. And in 21, they were 12th. I'm sorry. Yes, and they're 12th also in 21. Now, let's zoom up a little bit for these other three elite programs. Ohio State, 24, currently 2, 23, 5th, 22, 4th, 21, 2nd. Has 7 5 stars in that class, by the way. Bama, 24, 14th currently, but they're going to rise up pretty soon here. In 23, they were 1. In 22, they were 2. And in 21, they were 1. Georgia goes 1, 2, 3, 4. College football is about staying power. If you want to continue to win championships, you have to have the guys to do it. I question on that forefront if Michigan actually has the guys to do it. If they have the Jimmys and the Joes and the it's not just about depth, but the elite depth especially at the skill position. Of course, now and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but you guys have JJ McCarthy right now, very good quarterback. And you have Jaden Davis coming on soon, and then like I said, we'll talk about that later. But what about everybody else? What about everybody else? Like even if I talk about your running backs right now, after Corm, after Donnie, I don't think any of your running backs would start on a lot of teams. I really don't. I truly believe that. Um, Let me go a little bit further in this. In 2015, you guys went 10 and 3. In 2016, you went 10 and 3. 2017, 8 and 5. 2018, 10 and 3. 19, 9 and 4. And 20 went 2 and 4, of course, with the COVID year. You currently had two really good seasons. I say all this, Bryce, to tell you, you guys aren't as steady as you think you are. You guys go up and down, up and down. I mean, and I know Michigan fans want to say Citrus Bowl. I mean, bowl games don't matter the same way you guys think stars don't matter for recruits, even though your quarterback's a 5 star. That's another story. Um, Bowl games matter to me, and there's a certain type of bowl games that actually matter because you actually go against good talent. You go against really good talent from and some elite talent from other teams. Citrus Bowl, Jim Harbaugh's first year, W. Now as follows: Orange Bowl, L. Outback Bowl, L. A lot of people want to crap on that's actually a really good bowl game. Go check the teams that played in that before. Citrus again, L. Orange again, L. Fiesta this past season, L. To one of the least talented teams in college football playoff history. Only 13% of TCU was actually blue chip, by the way. So, with all that information that you have, and you may now turn your mic on, I have a question for you. Here's question number one: is Michigan on a real rise?
Is Michigan on a climb? Absolutely.
So it's not just like those two 10 win seasons you guys had in a row. It's not like that, and then you go and drop off 8 and 5.
No, not this year at least. Not this
Not
year.
this year. Not this year.
No, the crux of what you're saying is, can Michigan continue to be at this level? Because right now, it's fair to
With
say.
the way they recruit. With the way they recruit.
So a couple things to that, but just to get back to the root of your question, you're saying, can Michigan sustain this
Mm-hmm.
this level of, let's call it, eliteness? So for 2022, And if we're going into 2023, Michigan is one of the elite teams, right? Let's put them out there: Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. Okay, well, I know you're not going to say yes to that, but most people are going to say yes to that. I think
Okay.
ESPN today posted something: who's going to challenge Georgia, and the three teams were Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and then a little question mark box. So they're considered there whether you like it or not. So the question is, can they sustain that? So are they recruiting at the same level, kids outside of high school, as Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State? The answer is no. They're just not. We've seen that this year. Best year in recent history, and we're probably going to finish somewhere between 5 and 10 in the rankings, unless something crazy happens, which I I'm okay with that. We can talk about that later. You would love to, of course, be higher, but I think the one thing, because I'll agree, Garrison, recruiting is important. You can win games on coaching and schemes, but you win championships with the talent. And so, two thoughts to this. One, I think the transfer portal has changed that a little bit because you can get talent now and you can make up for the loss of recruiting. I thought Michigan did an excellent job of that with the 2023 class. So I feel good about that. Where I don't feel good and why I think this year has to be the year for Big Blue is that you need those layers of depth. Let's use Alabama, for example. You probably put this with other teams, but Alabama's 2s and 3s, 5 stars, 4 stars, maybe 3 stars, maybe. And they're seniors who've been in the program for a while. So you go down their depth chart through the positions. They've got talent there. When the playoff expands to 12 teams, that's going to be much more important because there are going to be injuries. There always are. I mean, Blake Corum got hurt week 11 going into essentially what many viewed as a playoff potentially game, right? So you need to be able to go 2s, 3s, sometimes 4s, at least just for depth. So if you want to talk about the long-term picture, that is something that I'm not going to lie, I'm concerned about to a degree and wary of. For the next couple of seasons, though, I think we're all right. And there's a lot of reasons for my positivity there. But the last thing I'll just say is Aaron Scott committed this week to Ohio State. We can touch on that briefly. That's feels like old news, but that wasn't that long ago. Mm-hmm. The fact that Michigan was even in that conversation, and I don't know how close Michigan actually was. It sounds like he was right there, or Michigan was right there.
By the way he trolled you guys, Bryce, I know what I said beforehand. It looks like you guys he was never going there.
He said he was. He said he was.
To troll, that was a troll, Bryce. To pull it out
the. So that was a troll. It was hilarious. If it wasn't my team, I think it'd be much funnier. But that was a troll. But he said, I listened to some Buckeye show on YouTube. Some schmuck was talking to him. And at one point, Scott said, I was going to go to Michigan. And then you went visit Ohio State. Bryce West recruited him. I think he had a good conversation.
You guys hear that a lot.
But the fact, Garrison, that like the fact that we're in that conversation with them, and he said Michigan beat Ohio State and Columbus was huge. If Michigan goes and beats Ohio State again this year, we could see some things change. I'm not saying we're going to scoop out the top talent in Ohio, but you could potentially see things change. So,
okay,
is Michigan on the rise? Are they going to be consistent over the next 3-5 years with Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia in recruiting and talent? Tough to say that with the way the rankings are projected. But if 2023 is a year for Michigan that they win another 12 games, things can change, man. Things can change.
Okay.